the most basic explanation is that he removes cause and keeps effect. That's what I was about to say. So this is how I understand it to work, right? Right now, from what I've seen, this is how I see it working, right? So I'm gonna steal um not fried chicken's idea real quick. And then I'll show you how I see this working, right? Hang on. Okay. So this is how I see it working, right? We'll have where's the brushes? Okay. Yes, cool. How do I delete shit? There we go. So we're gonna say that this is time, right? This line is time, right? We're gonna say that this red line is King Crimson, and we're gonna say that this blue line is Buccellati, right? Fuck. Hang on. Where the fuck is the backwards button? There it is. Say this blue one is Buccellati, right? All right. All right. Man's pulled out the diagram. In Miss Paint, we seeing some real shit. Oh shit. All right, so this black line is time, right? Red line is King Crimson or the boss, whatever. And the blue line is Buccellati, okay? So the way that I see it, right, is that at least how we understand time for right now, because like time can be perceived in a lot of ways in a lot of shows. For what we understand time to be right now is a fixed line, right? However, there are other mini lines that run congruent with it that we will never have the time to talk about for real. But we're going to use this line as the baseline for the time that we're experiencing in the show, as we experience in the show right now, right? I'm not going to think about any other timelines or like any other like times intersecting just yet. We're going to just look at time as it is right here, right? So let's say around right here, King Crimson activates his ability, right? So what happens, at least in my head, what happens is he deletes that, right? But within time being deleted right there, what happens is that Buccellati gets stagnated right there, right? Because time doesn't exist. Therefore, he can't move anymore, right? But King Crimson can, right? He continues to like move. Like he himself continues to move, right? He can't really like interact with Buccellati because right now we're gonna see this as like him being corrupted. He can't do shit. He doesn't have time, therefore he can't do shit within that moment. However, King Crimson is not corrupted, right? He can just freely move without time, right? Which is probably one of the biggest, what I'm seeing is like one of the biggest like powers that he has right now. That the fact that he is unfazed by the fact that time stopped, right? Or time was deleted, right? So within this moment, he can position himself, do whatever he wants with the time that he's deleted, right? I don't know how much of time he can delete or whatever. He can just do whatever he wants within this time that he's deleted. But here's the thing. Here's the weird thing, right? Here's the weird thing. Time is it always moves forward, right? Time always moves forward. So while this time is deleted, right? While this time is deleted, it is going to eventually start back up, right? Because you can't, like, deleting time to me is kind of like getting a bucket and trying to take the water out of the ocean, because eventually, it's too vast for you to even fully get rid of, So when he stops, when the time resumes again, he's right here, and Buccellati is kind of still right there as well. Within this time that he could move freely or whatever, he could position himself, in a way that he can safely attack Buccellati, whatever. So what I'm seeing here, you have the basic concept correct, but there are fuck tons of unexplained. That's what I'm talking about, right? So I understand the basic aspect of what of what the power does, right? But which is why I say I'm not going to get into like the whole like theory of like how time is actually works or whatever. That's why I just look at it as a line right now, because it's the best way to explain it. So like which is, I think, is something that I talked about in the episode, is that within this moment, if we look at time, this line of time, like fate, right? Him being able to delete it and insert himself in it makes him able to actually, that's why I say he can actively change his own fate. Because now, if time isn't there and he's the only one moving, it's not really much of a stretch to be like, oh yeah, that nigga is he's the placeholder for the time that's been deleted, you know what I'm saying? Or erased, as he says it. So like this to me is like the basics. Hang on. King Crimson. Oh shit. Crimson 101. This is like the basics of how this shit works, right? He deletes it. He deletes the time. He does not stop moving. Whatever is in the vicinity of him deleting the time is corrupted. Therefore, he can't really do anything about it. I like to think about it like editing software. You have a video channel of the world with a separate channel for KC, and he cuts out a chunk and keeps his channel keeps playing over it. Yes, that's because in all reality, this is exactly how my editing software would look if I cut it out, right? So like if I opened up Vegas, right? That's exactly how it's gonna look, right? Hang on, give me a sec. That's exactly what it's gonna look like. Insert video. That's what I'm seeing right now. That's exactly what I'm seeing now. So the fact that you hearken it to like editing a video, that's probably the best way to look at like the basics of how that shit works. Hit me up on Discord. I need to be able to stream the show so I can pause it and draw over it. This is the thing though. People still move during the time skip. They're just not conscious of it. So I guess that's where we have to add in another layer, huh? Time skip, they're just not conscious to it and can't control it. I'll send another example in a minute. I will say it sounds a lot like what Giorno did to Buccellati in the beginning of the show, of the part. The situation I always picture is Mr. shooting at the boss. Mr. aims up a shot and is just about to fire, but Casey's ability in wait, what the fuck? Casey ends then Casey ends, and from Mista's perspective, the boss has just teleported and he's already fired his shot. Yeah, that's probably also a good way to see it as well. Then this conversation is way out of my league. I think it's way out of a lot of our leagues, to be honest with you. Um, let's what was he doing? Why do I go back to fried chicken? So it need to be able to stream the show so I can pause it and draw over it. Okay, we'll do that then. Yeah, we'll just do it like that then. Um, the way I see it, KC fucks around and shit happens. That's probably the best way to look at it, to be honest, because like looking at it, I feel like this is one of those powers where looking at and looking into it too deep is like probably a no. I understand KC. I understand KC. I just don't want to talk. I feel that. I feel that. I feel that. But yeah, I kind of understand the base principle of how King Crimson works, you know? Like I can understand it. Of course there is some fuckery because when you fun sound effect plus VA amazing is all we need. It is a really good sound effect, huh? It is a really good sound effect. But you see it in action, it works, but trying to explain it is rough. Yeah, like I understand. I understand why I see it play out in front of me on screen. I'm like, okay, makes sense, right? Um and when it comes to time, like I said, there's almost no definitive way to fully explain how something works when it comes to time because it's time, you know what I'm saying? Like there's not much you can do about trying to understand how time works, I guess you could say, because there's so many like theories on how it works already in like real world like examples. We don't really know if it's linear or like you go the Haunting of Hill House route, you know, where it's like, oh, it's just all around us, you know. Which would be even harder if they did it like that. Like they would have to go the timeline route, like the linear route, because that's the only way that shit works. I was trying to explain KC to a friend over the phone. He said he understood what it was, what I was saying, but I can see past his lies. God damn it! Like I think the just like understanding the base premise of how King Crimson works is probably good enough for a lot of people, you know, like because in any show when you get into like time like manipulation, especially when you start deleting it, erasing it or whatever, it's always going to get a little messy. um I think this is one of those moments where it just kind of gets a little messy, but like it's it's understandable, you know? Like I kind of understand the how it works, but the fact that it's time adds in a bunch of other facets where I have to like consider like if it works like this, then that means this for the you know other stands are more complicated. KC's not. Hey, in all reality, KC is actually nothing. Um. Oh wait. Am I still on? Am I on Discord? I'm not on Discord. Okay, hang on. I gotta actually open up Discord. I'm on Discord. We're gonna bring up chicken real quick. Yeah, we'll kind of like elaborate on it a little bit more. Hang on. Let me where the fuck? I'll switch this real quick. Big brain. Big brain. Hold up. I'll just call on voice. Fuck it. It's probably the best way to do it.
Hey, man.
What up?
You there?
Yep, I'm in this thing.
All right. So I'm gonna stream my screen.
Okay.
If I try to stream the window, it crashes. So I'm just gonna stream
That's understandable.
the screen.
Yeah. Six.
So this shit right here, where he sees himself.
Yeah.
This does not normally happen. This is a special case. So what happens is King Crimson, even when not erasing time, can just see the future at all times.
Right.
So that what to skip and what not to skip.
Right, which is why I like the whole idea of it being like an actual being like editing a video, because you can see what you want to skip and like what you don't want. Yeah. So
So what he's done here is he's talking about like, oh, I'll enlighten you since this is the end. So he's actually just showing that prediction
right
to Buccellati.
Right.
Normally when there's a time skip, you cannot see your future self.
Right.
And in fact, explaining this shit to Buccellati is one of the biggest misplays in fucking history.
Right. That does sound stupid. Like as soon as he said that, I was like, why would you? I wouldn't do that. But okay.
Because like showing him the future and then explaining it gave him a split second to put the zipper in his chest.
It bought him time. It bought him time.
No, it bought him a full hit, which is
would
have been death.
Right.
Not just time, it's a fucking one.
Well, right, because you can't really talk about time when we're talking about this. But
all right, so now we get into the fuck shit.
Right, the fuck shit.
So when they're out here, Narancha and Mister are fighting over the chocolates. Here, let me turn this down.
Which was actually a really interesting scene.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, Narancha has the chocolates in his mouth.
Right.
Doesn't know. Fugo has the water.
Right.
And Giorno had a cat walk over his lap.
Right.
So they still, like, Narancha was gonna eat the chocolates in the future.
Right. Okay.
And they skipped to after he had eaten them.
So they basically it's just what he was going to do.
Yeah. And Giorno was going to hand the water to Fugo, but that whole action got skipped. So you just end up with the result, which is, Narancha eating the chocolate, Fugo having the water.
Right.
Even though Giorno's like, what the fuck? I didn't hand you the water.
Right.
So the same concept is going on before, where Buccellati could see himself in the future. That was the end point of the skip.
Right.
Just like the end point of the skip was like the chocolate being in Narancha's mouth. So if he was, looking in this direction.
So I would say, is he skipping or is he literally erasing? Is he fast forwarding or is he erasing?
We'll get into this in a second, but he's actually not really doing either.
Okay.
In fact, his main ability isn't really even
the boy solving King Crimson F5.
That's a great fucking freeze frame. So, right here, when it starts, we can't see it here, but he can. Before he activated this, he could see the end point of the skip in the future.
Right.
And when he activates this, it starts a skip, and it'll always end on the last thing he predicted.
Okay.
And then once you go past that point in time, that's no longer something that he's predicted. So it's like unwritten fate. So that's why people are then suddenly able to react and.
So I would look at it as like let's go to the thing of like how like space is constantly expanding, right? Like that,
Right.
it does not stop. I would look
Yeah,
at
it's getting
look at
faster
it
and
like
faster.
that. Right, right. It just gets faster and faster. So I would kind of look at it like that, right? Like where it's constantly being written, where it's there. How do I explain this? The line is constantly getting longer,
Yeah,
but the fact that he predicted that being the last thing that he predict is where the line ends for him until he activates it again.
exactly.
Right.
And the
Okay.
reason that they snap out of this state is because that they've reached something that he hasn't predicted,
Right.
so they can move according to their own
So
fate again.
here's what I would say to that. That you would be right that he's not deleting it or fast forwarding it.
Yeah.
He what it sounds like right now is that he literally creates fate for the next however long his ability
Yeah.
works.
Oh, one more thing. So he predicts up to the end of the time skip, and then literally the entire world, other than him, not just people, but
Right. But the
the
world.
universe
Right.
itself,
Right.
will continue to act out the same exact thing he predicted, except for the location of his physical body.
Right. Which is
the fate can be altered.
right, which is back to where I said like he serves as a stand-in for as long as like time is deleted. He serves as a stand-in. Like he literally holds the place of where that got deleted. And then
Almost.
right.
This right here is kind of that. So
Right.
he's gonna punch, and in the future, King Crimson would have predicted himself being punched by sticky fingers,
Mhm.
and then a zipper would open up probably on his neck and he would die.
Right.
So he saw himself get unzipped and he saw himself die in the future, basically, or get injured.
Right.
Before that happens, he erases time and moves away from the location that he was in the prediction.
Right.
But Buccellati is still forced to punch where he was in the prediction, even though he's no longer there.
Right.
But since literally everything other than his body still acts as if the prediction is happening,
Right.
the zipper that would have opened up on his neck or whatever opens up in just thin air right here.
Right.
So I'm not quite sure what happens to the zipper once time resumes. Maybe it just drops to the ground and clatters.
I would assume that it becomes null and void.
Yeah, well, he's not actually making it not exist.
Right.
He's just making it exist on thin air instead of on his body.
Right. So when it starts again, it literally does not matter.
Yeah. So
right.
this zipper opening up on thin air is like the key to understanding this shit. And I wish more people noticed that this wasn't the pillar and that this was thin air.
Right. I didn't think it was a pillar when he hit. The only time I thought it was the pillar was when he actually hit the pillar. But other than that, I noticed that he did it in thin air, which is why I have the idea of him being more of a placeholder, which I wouldn't exactly say placeholder, but like for lack of a better term for me right now.
Yeah, there honestly should be a placeholder. Like it should show when he starts the ability to make it way easier to understand. It should show not only Buccellati's future path, but also King Crimson's future path, and then show that Buccellati is locked into his, whereas he can move away from his.
He freely decided that fate was not his to accept and created a new one.
Okay. So that's where most people's understanding of it usually stops.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really look any further. Now comes the theoretical bullshit.
Right.
So when they're... All right. So during a skip, he can't interact with the physical world because that would be changing someone's fate other than his own.
Right.
It would create a paradox, and
Right. That wouldn't work at all.
So a lot of a lot of people ask, how was he able to cut off Trish's hand during a skip? This is because literally everything other than his body still keeps going as normal, according to the prediction.
Right.
So he predicted himself cutting off her arm.
Right.
And so predicted himself doing it without using a skip, basically.
Right.
But then skipped anyway,
Mm-hmm.
and then moved away from where he was shown to be in the prediction. So even though he's not anywhere near Trish, she's
Right.
still fated to get her arm cut off.
Right.
Which means it still happens even though this time he doesn't even get close.
Right.
So fucking broken.
So yeah, here's what I'm looking at, right? Which is, I guess it's kind of still my running theory about it, which is it does look like he's erasing time or fast forwarding. It looks like it, right? But what it really seems like is that he's like I said before, he's actively fucking with fate by only fucking with his own fate.
Yeah.
Because if you fuck with your own fate, it fucks up everything else.
Yeah. The way I usually explain it to people is he doesn't erase time, he erases his own future, and then the universe itself is the one that does the skip in order to
right. It has to like troubleshoot what's going on.
Prevent paradoxes.
Right. Because
between like someone punching thin air.
Right. Because that in all reality, if we were to take like the let's take the butterfly in the hurricane kind of bitch ass gnat. Let's take like the butterfly in the hurricane. Yeah. Bitch ass gnat in the hurricane. The bitch ass gnat in the hurricane, right? Like the butterfly effect, right? Let's look at it like that, right?
Yeah.
So, if the idea of the butterfly effect is that one thing creates another, which creates another event, which creates another event, which creates another event, right?
Yeah.
And with King Crimson's stand being able to actively change his own fate, those events aren't exactly null and void, but they now have to be corrected. So the idea behind his stand is not the fact that he is deleting it and then taking it away, or like deleting it and then it resumes. It's his stand moves him, and his stand name bitch ass gnat. I love it. His stand moves him, and the universe does the rest of the work for him because it has to prevent any type of like paradoxes that could actually
a discrepancy between what the people were predicted to see versus what they would actually be seeing, which is thin air.
Right. So it makes me want to lean more into my idea of him actively fucking with fate, only him actively fucking with his own fate, which by extension makes it to where it fucks with everything else's fate. Because if he moves out of line, the universe still has to fix it. If he moves out of line, the universe then has to move the line to his will.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. Okay.
And it can only do that once they've reached a point that isn't set in stone.
Right. Because that brings in the whole expanding universe kind of idea.
And so not being able to see past the end of the skip is like his one weakness, but then as soon as he reaches the end of the skip, he can just predict the future again and then like pretty much instantly use it again.
Right.
It's unclear whether it either has the world's shortest cooldown or literally none. The only form of cooldown
Right.
is
I think
just, like,
I would say that it doesn't even matter if you can use it instantaneously afterwards, because the line stops wherever fate hasn't been created yet. So
yeah,
it wouldn't matter for the universe or King Crimson because it hasn't been created yet.
exactly.
Okay.
And so instead of like in place of a cooldown, the real cooldown is that once he
can't.
reaches the end of the skip,
Right. He can't
needs
predict
to then
further than time
take
itself.
yeah. Well, it's that once he reaches the end, he then has to take a very split second to do another prediction and then tell if he wants to delete time or not. Because if he just
Right.
spams it again right afterward, he wouldn't be able to actually attack out of it.
Right, because there's nothing there to actually move into. Like there's nothing there, so he can't. Where is he gonna move?
I'm not quite sure what you're saying there.
So okay, so here's what I'm saying, right? So if the idea is that he makes a prediction and that's where it stops, like he
Yeah.
makes a prediction, that's where it stops. He can't then, and this is all like, kind of, this is all about how fast time is created, which I couldn't tell you, but if he makes a prediction and he tries to then move or activate his ability faster than time can create itself, like that shit doesn't work, because that's just not how it works. Like he couldn't make a prediction past what has already been created.
Yeah, he needs, well, because think about it, he's technically changing everyone else's fate by making them not get a kill instead of getting a kill.
Right.
And so
Like
fate
the line
needs
only
to like
the
start.
world affects the
Fate
remains
needs
of the
to
world.
like branch off and start a new path, which
Right.
he then has to make another prediction and then skip again.
Right, which
So-
is just a part of fate trying to fix itself.
So it's not really a cooldown as much as it is just like only being on like base reality level of knowledge once every 10 seconds for like a split second.
Right, so he can be a god for a little bit, but he can't be a god past.
Yeah, he's got to.
He can't be a god
for
yes.
a split second every 10 seconds.
So he's gonna have to be a human before he actually can activate god powers and then actually do his whole god shit that he does.
And once again, he could just activate it instantly afterward,
Right.
but he wouldn't know what he's skipping.
Right, he
so
wouldn't see anything.
He could be skipping an opportunity to win, or he could be.
He basically spoils himself. Like that.
Damn.
Like that's what that sounds like. He spoils himself, but if there's no anime to watch, how's he supposed to spoil himself?
Okay, so shit. What was I gonna do next? So it's in this other episode, right back here in the elevator.
Spoils life. God damn it.
In the elevator, you can see this dial. It's like reaching the top, and then all of a sudden, it's almost at the end of that line.
Right.
And then camera cut, and it's past.
Right, and it's past
and
it.
it's reached.
Right.
It's such a cool little hidden thing. So during that, he predicted himself cutting off Trish's arm and then like probably throwing her out through that hole in the ceiling.
Right.
But then before he even does that, he just erases time, and then he doesn't even have to go in there and cut the arm off because everything other than his body is faded.
Right, it was already faded.
So Trish's body just cuts her own hand off and
Right.
then flies upward.
Which is wild to think about.
All right, shit. Oh god, there was an aspect that I was gonna talk about. Shit.
Because I would say
I
like
got
it makes perfect sense to me. Like it's hard to explain because like
right.
there aren't a lot of words to explain it, but it makes perfect sense to me as of right here.
Right. This right here is another kind of hidden aspect that almost no one, to my knowledge, knows. Well, very few people know about. Is that when he activates this, you can see
Everything
like the
breaks and
entire
shit.
world shatters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. That is signifying that everything other, or basically everything without a soul, becomes intangible, and he can no
Right.
clip through walls and floors and any kind of literally anything that doesn't have a soul. So like an
Right.
explosion, a projectile, anything other than your stand's like main body.
Right. Like non-living things become null and void is
Yeah.
what you're saying. Yeah.
And it's actually unclear what happens if he steps into the path of something of like something with a soul, and that path is to like go through him.
I,
If he stepped into the path, either it would just like push him along without like stopping because it's fated to keep moving forward,
right.
or it would just like erase a chunk out of King Crimson because two things would be existing in the same spot.
I would lean past that it would move him because King so far it seems that King Crimson seems to be the exception. And
Yeah.
I don't see like something causing the exception damage because it's fated to do it, because that is the exception. The exception's just gonna move.
Yeah, it's just like what happens if he were to move like right here,
Right.
and then the punch is fated to end up behind him.
Right. It's gonna like the punch is fated to move to that direction, to that spot. So it's gonna do it. But the fact that King Crimson is the exception, he there is no like, oh yeah, it'll probably just destroy me because that's not what it that's not being the exception anymore. Like
Yeah.
that's being actively affected by fate, which is the antithesis what I'm seeing of his power.
A lot of people say that it would just go through him unharmed, which
Mm,
is pretty ridiculous because that
mm,
would kind of defeat the whole point of being able to change your fate.
right.
You wouldn't really need to change your fate if you could just stand in the same spot as you were in the prediction and just let it go through you.
Wait, but if he could only see living things, how can he see weapons? Is shit
See,
is
well,
shit being in slow motion during a time skip an effect or an aspect of King Crimson's ability? That's a good
it's
question.
unclear because
Like,
it's
right,
manga.
right. I couldn't like that part. I don't even try to think about that part because you really can't tell what is there to look cool and what actually
Yeah, because
means something. You know,
he can't explain this whole shit in 10 seconds. He
right?
needs
There's no way. That's one of those parts of the anime where I'm not really I'm not too worried about because that while it matters, it doesn't matter.
So the thing with everything with a soul not shattering, he can predict everything.
Mm-hmm.
He can predict like inanimate objects.
Right.
So I'm not really sure what he meant by seeing. Let me check. He can see. He can only see living things. How can he see weapons? Yeah, I still don't know what he means by that.
It's probably to represent the fact that this fucking gnat. Hang on, bro. Cause you about to die for real. Cause you really don't know who the fuck you fucking with. That's crazy to me. I ain't got anything to kill you with. You got lucky. All right.
You live another day.
You live another day. I'm try to kill it or whatever. It's probably to represent the fact that he knows exactly what's going down. I would, yeah. I'll go with
Yeah,
that. I'll go with that.
and I mean a lot of like stands are insanely fast.
Right.
So like I think this is just showing that he has like crazy or like crazy reaction time
Hmm.
as most stand users do. Um,
Right.
oh right. So there was a thing you asked in the reaction. I can't find it, but you were like, his range is crazy. Um,
Yeah. When I was
but
talking about his
I don't see
range.
the user anywhere.
Hmm.
So the user is King Crimson actually has like the lowest range of pretty much any stand other than ones that don't have a form.
Hmm.
It's pretty much its range is pretty much the length of your actual arm punch. Like it can punch about as far as the boss could.
Hmm.
Um, but the actual effect of the skip is infinite range. So
Right.
it's not just everyone on this island being like, "What the fuck? Why do I have chocolate in my mouth?"
Right.
It's the
It
entire
affects
fucking
everything.
universe.
Yeah, it affects.
So like, people on Mikitaka's planet are probably
Right.
being like, "What the fuck?
Right.
What did I come on? What did I come into this room to get?"
Right. Which makes perfect sense to me because it's like, fucking god damn it, fucking god damn it. All right. It's like, the way I look at it is like, so the world, right? When he gets close enough to stop time, then he can do it because then that means that he's like, okay, yeah, he's within my range. Let me so what though? But with King Crimson, it's like, well, I'm just gonna activate it over here, and it's not really gonna matter much for me because the act of him deleting time or erasing time, whatever, counts for not just however meters, it counts for everything. Like
Oh
it's
yeah.
right.
So
I hate you. God damn you. Let me see something.
so also I gotta clarify right here. He
Yeah.
did not actually like come into contact with his future self.
Uh-huh.
I think the anime kind of fucked it up a little.
Yeah.
But I believe he's actually punching thin air,
Mm-hmm.
and this is just the placeholder, as you're saying.
The after image.
And it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
it's because he's granting Buccellati the same vision that he can get.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like he's punching him. I think he's actually just punching thin air.
Right. That's understandable too.
So there's a lot of other situations that are kind of hard to explain. Like, shit, right here,
Mm-hmm.
he comes around the corner.
Right.
So he's holding Trish up in the air. He comes around the corner, and you can see in his eye that
Right.
he's gone.
Trish. Right. He's gone.
And she
Trish is
hasn't
the only
even
one there.
She hasn't even hit the ground.
Right.
That's because he predicted himself still standing there, holding Trish, while Buccellati came around the corner to punch at him. Before that happens, before Buccellati even comes around the corner, though, he deletes time.
Right.
And then climbs up the pillar.
Right, and that makes sense to me as well.
And because he originally predicted himself just standing still as he was before, Trish hovers in the air until the time skip is over,
Right.
because she was fated to be in the air
Mm-hmm.
because he was holding her.
Right.
Shit is crazy.
Right, and that's pretty much why the shit looked absolutely OP as shit. Because
Yeah, this guy can stalemate pretty much any character.
right,
Because, most characters use attacks to kill people.
right, but he's a little bit different in that aspect.
Even something like a fucking spirit bomb. That's still, it doesn't have a soul, so it's still
Right.
gonna be intangible during this. Even destroying the planet, as long as he had a spacesuit,
Right.
he could just keep spamming that shit because he knows he doesn't have to keep predicting again and again. He knows
Right.
it's just gonna be, fire and death. So he can just keep spamming that shit if he knows it's gonna last longer than 10 seconds. So it's not even I just need to use an attack that lasts more than 10 seconds.
Right. I mean, it makes sense. That makes sense to me. Like the idea of it makes sense to me.
I'll tell you what could actually stand a good chance is White Album, actually.
The what?
It could White Album, which is Ghiaccios star, who kept calling Malone.
Big Malone.
Because that could actually probably tank maybe a hit, or maybe at least half a hit.
Right.
And not die instantly. And then Gently Weeps, which has all that air around him frozen, would actually probably freeze him for a second and actually force him to do a second skip.
Right, that also makes sense.
Because
you're not about to fight an Eldritch power with another Eldritch power. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah. So
this night is giving me flashbacks of the brutal death of Caesar the Lizard. Jesus fuck.
Damn.
Not Caesar, bro.
F.
Definitely a shot for Caesar. I repeated my nigga. Unfortunate.
But yeah, your best bet is probably like to be big or something. Like just to have big fists that are harder to dodge. Like
right, that makes more sense.
Other
not
than
really
that,
gonna outpace this thing. You just gotta.
Well, literally, even if you're infinitely fast, or 2 times infinitely fast, it doesn't matter, because
like speed means nothing if you don't have time.
Absolutely nothing, because he's always gonna be 10 seconds ahead.
Right.
And you're just gonna miss him at infinite speed.
Right.
It's fucking insane, and it makes my brain hurt. Okay.
Well, yeah, my brain is also cooking right now. I ain't about to lie to you.
I think that's it. just pretty much remember, when in doubt, remember the part where he punches thin air and makes a zipper on thin air, and then the part where similarly people can get hurt by thin air, where it wasn't a prediction. As long as you know that, then every instance makes perfect sense.
Right, which that makes perfect sense to me.
And then the thing of no clipping through anything without a soul.
Right, because that also makes sense, because it doesn't have soul.
Otherwise you could just like trap him in a dead end and then just beat the shit out of him in a dead end.
That's true. That's true. He would get his ass beat, no cap.
Yep. Oh, also, he has like an A in strength, A in speed, so we don't even know if he would lose like a straight up aura off.
Right, now I think about it, yeah, that's true. If they just if they just see, they was just looking at how their hands was looking, you know what I'm saying, he probably still dirt some niggas. Not about to lie to you.
Yeah, it's just he only ever does one hit because
Right, because I
know?
mean that's more surefire than like just
Well, yeah,
boxing somebody straight up.
if you do 2 hits, then you have to stay in reality that much longer and
Right.
risk.
It wouldn't make, if I had that power, it would make no sense for me to like fight you like head up. It makes no sense for me
Yeah.
to do that. Like I'm gonna use the fact that I can just position myself to be in a better spot to kill you off of, like to one shot you. Like,
Yeah.
it just makes more sense to
And
do it like that.
and the craziest part is he explained the shit to him and showed him the prediction, and even then he still got pretty fucked up.
Right.
If you didn't get that shown to you and explained to you, you would not even know you were in a fight.
Right. You'd be dead before you ever figured out that you were fighting somebody.
Much less be able to activate your stand, much less activate it
Right.
at the right
You'd be
time,
gone. There'd be
or aim
no
it.
way. There would be no fucking. Now what if I was 20 seconds ahead? King Crimson is an assassin type, plain and simple. One punch and dip. Yes. That.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's literally he's just like the strongest rogue that you'll ever see.
100%.
Like he's just
dodge chance.
yeah, he's just ridiculous. He's just a ridiculous rogue.
Okay, so this part right here gets misinterpreted a lot, where he's about to go out and kill Giorno,
Right.
and finish off Buccellati, but then Giorno like gets them all to come over, and he's like, ah shit,
Right.
Buccellati, I commend your excellent decision making skills. Shit, where's the line? He's like, even though I possess the ability to eliminate time, if I were to face 6 stand users at once, I would be unable to avoid exposing myself to at least one of them.
Right.
A lot of people take this to mean he would get hit or injured or killed.
Mm-hmm.
That's completely false. He's just saying they would see his face and he'd be ruined. His entire
Right.
it
would fuck up his
because yeah.
It would fuck up his
all
own
of his
like
power,
want.
all of his power comes from his anonymity.
Right.
And this is actually the closest thing to a weakness that I'd say he has, is that, like, right here, he could have just killed all 6 of them and part 5 would have ended right here.
Right, but he wants to stay low key.
Yeah, the thing is, it's such an irrational aspect of his philosophy that, you know, it's either they see his face and then instantly all die,
right,
or he lets them go and then they could plot against him and etc. It's so irrational, but it just shows you what kind of person he is.
Right, which once again it makes sense, because if we go back to like part 4, right, where Kira could use Bites the Dust and he would be cool, and maybe not like before Bites the Dust, right? And this is just like on the like idea of like the villains having a like having themselves get in the way of an ultimate power, right? Because around the time that Kira used his secondary bomb on like Koichi, and he basically had that shit in the bag, and it was like Koichi had his sock inside out.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, that shit ugly, and then like had to go fix it up, which to me it's like these people like are, while yes they have eldritch god like powers, but they're just like humans playing God. Because if you look at it, like, my nigga, if I'm a god and I can stop or erase whatever time, I don't care who sees what I am. I don't care, because I'm a god. You handle me. Like, I'm not gonna what? Like,
yeah, no, he literally thinks that like that one of them might be wearing a wire and they're gonna like describe out loud what he looks like.
It's just extreme caution.
Or like take a picture that automatically uploads or some shit. It's just like he's
It is
making
neurotic.
such a misplay off of such a small chance of that happening.
Right. And I mean, it just all comes down to him just being, he's just a man. He's just a man.
And similar to that Kira fight, sheer heart attack has no weaknesses.
Right. But you do.
Kira does.
Right.
Yeah.
That which is the biggest thing, which is why I really liked Kira's fight, because King Crimson is a VPN. God damn it. Which is why I really like Kira's fight, because it told me a lot about, well, not even Kira, but like every like big bad has told me a lot about the big bads in the series, is that their stands very much like Dio stand was stupid, Kira stand was stupid, but like Dio and Kira at some point was stupider and got themselves killed.
Yeah, there's actually a great video about that called Kira Yoshikage doesn't want to live a quiet life.
Bro.
He's talking about how he told himself that, but he really didn't. He wanted this thrilling murder mystery serial killer life.
Right.
And once he became Kosaku, he actually did, for once, start wanting an actual quiet life.
Right.
And then he tried like pretty damn hard, but in the end he couldn't stop being himself, and that's what got him killed.
Which is why when I was watching part 4 around that time, where I was like, yeah, it has to be hard for him to not go out and just kill somebody, because that's who he is.
Yeah. Also, one of my favorite things that I've noticed is that Kira spent his whole life trying not to be noticed, and he died from the ambulance driver not noticing him.
Right, not noticing him and taking off his face pretty much.
Yeah.
It sucks. I mean, for Kira, him being, even though they were ugly ass hands, his demise coming from a bunch of fucking hands sucks for him. It just really sucks for him. I'm not about to lie to you. That just damn this man's the problem is always himself. Damn 200 IQ grade school. God damn it.
Fucking Hayato would get such an OP stand. Oh my god.
If Hayato had to stand, there's no way. There's just no way. I don't see anybody beating that guy.
That kid gathered the resolve to kill himself literally 3 separate times.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Cause he's like what?
Increasingly like horrible ways.
My man really tried to pretty much cut his own throat and then blew himself up. Like, yeah. The dude is a fucking mastodon. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, he was a mastodon just for that. Like, if he had an actual stand, Hayato would be, yeah, he'd be dirting people left and right, because that guy figured out stands without having a stand, and that's something.
Yeah.
Like just the fact, because like I said, I've been rewatching it, and the fact that Hayato at some point tells Josuke, don't touch him, he's probably turning him into a bomb, and never really having Kira say, hey, I turn things into bombs. Like,
which is even crazier, because unless it's actually destroying like a physical object other than the bomb just to non-stand users just disappears instantly.
Right.
They don't see an explosion.
Right.
So that's even crazier that he was able to
Hayato
discern that. Like,
Hayato probably has like one of the biggest brains I've ever seen. Like,
legit, he like Josuke moved the fuck out of the way. Like Hayato's the real smartest boy.
Yeah. You ain't lying. That man went crazy.
Actually, speaking of, I would say King Crimson is definitely an Okuyasu situation where
oh yes, like where if he
busted fucking thing you've ever seen.
If he wasn't dumb, he would be a god. Except
in here, it's if he wasn't a pussy.
Right. If he right. Yeah. Like if he wasn't, then he would be, kind of
Yeah,
situation.
he would have fucking won right here, and
Yeah, it would be over.
episode would stop right here.
It would absolutely be over. Like, and that's the
Uh,
case for a lot of them. It would definitely be
yeah.
over. Hayato curve stomp fate with those muscular. God damn it. God damn it. Hayato is the sole reason not to skip leg day. God damn it. God damn it. But I mean, it all makes sense to me. Like the whole King Crimson thing and stuff. It makes sense to me. I mean, like, of course there's aspects of it that go over the somebody's head, because it's like I said, once you get into time, you're kind of just shooting in the dark at that point for a lot of things. But it makes sense. Like the way it works and like the intricacies of it makes sense to me. Like I don't know.
The anime did fucking wonders for that. Holy shit.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me, or at least as far as it can make sense.
Dude, like we had to fucking figure this shit out from a shitty scanlation from like 2006.
Oh yeah, that
like
would have pissed me off, no cap.
the translations for Jojo are notoriously fucking were just horrible until very recently when it started getting all this popularity. Like we had fucking Duwang. Have you ever heard of Duwang?
I am not.
No? Holy
No.
shit. Okay, we about to have a long night of fucking Duwang.
Is that like a translator?
Duwang reactions. So, for literally 20 fucking years, the only way to read part 4 in English was a translation done by a Chinese school kid
Oh
who
god.
did not know Japanese or English.
Oh god.
So he was translating it from Japanese, which he didn't know, into Chinese, or into school kid level Chinese,
What the fuck?
into English, which he also didn't know.
You know what? I give him props for just trying.
Well, he did it because it was a school assignment
Oh, it was a school
to like practice English.
Still props to him for trying.
But yeah, for literally 20 years, that was the only way to read that in English. And it's just fucking legendary. Like
that is wild.
Joel.
I can't
Joel does a
not-
bunch of videos.
I can't
where he
not be
reads it.
impressed by that. I can't not
I'm
be
a little
impressed.
impressed. But then you read it and it's like unintelligible.
Like it makes perfect. You know what? I respect him for doing that, because like if I were to translate something and not knowing the language, I'd fuck it up horribly. Like probably worse than he did. I wouldn't even try. Yeah, hit that bitch ass nigga. Yeah. Hit him. Yeah. Yo's on the Discord. I just got back. We were explaining and looking at King Crimson with fried chicken.
Yeah, we got onto a bunch of fucking tangents.
What the fuck?
Fuck. We might have started by talking about King Crimson, but we're sure as hell
it got to other places.
This is a badass line right here.
A moment's rest won't be enough for you to reach the first floor, but it should be plenty to make. Yeah, that's fucking. Yeah, that's kind of hard. I'm not about to lie to you. That is hard as fuck.
Oh,
to come up with that in the middle of battle.
So, I wouldn't really call this a spoiler, but you're asking about like, why does he want to kill Trish?
Yeah.
He actually explains right here. Oh, right. Before we do this is a cool. This is a cool thing. He's like, no matter what kind of person you are, you'll experience ups and downs in life.
Oh yeah, I really like this part actually.
But if you witness them open up before your eyes, choose to avoid them, you'll never incur another loss. This is like fucked up, twisted skew on the whole philosophy that all the characters in part 5 have been kind of collectively contributing to, like especially Mista with his
Right.
whole
yeah.
like,
Mist is
his
one of the
outlook on,
biggest
like,
ones.
yeah, he's like everyone has their fated path, and no matter what detours you take, you'll always end up walking that path.
Right.
And it's a very uplifting way that he sees it.
Right.
Whereas King Crimson has, ironically, the same exact philosophy, but with a negative.
And that's what we were talking about in episode.
Well, I don't mean he has that philosophy, but King Crimson itself is like a fucked up version of that philosophy.
Yeah. What was the episode? What was the last episode where they killed fucking White Album, and they talked about Mista and his, like, you know, his ideals about fate and stuff. I think we talked. Did we talk about that in that episode? Where I was like, where it's like Mista's like idea of fate is like very optimistic, whereas I feel like the boss's is like very not pessimistic, but it is way more twisted than what everybody else is going off of.
Yeah. So
is boxing a fly, and I'm not sure he's winning. I'm getting destroyed. I'm getting fucking worked.
Fly 3, Darth 0.
Oh God, he's fucking my shit up. Some bullshit. I'm killing him at some point though. But yeah, his ideals about fate are a lot more twisted than what somebody like Mista has, where it's just like, yeah, I just go with the flow, and his is more like, fuck that. No,
it's funny actually, because you were theorizing someone who had. By the way, I've never seen someone like predict King Crimson, much less fucking like understand it.
It kind of made it kind of, if I was running by like process of elimination.
You said I'm not sure if you can delete fate.
Oh,
like, you said that just based on this shit right here. Just him.
Oh, him just because it made sense.
No, it doesn't.
It does make sense.
It doesn't. He just disappeared and the roses were cut. How the fuck did you get delete fate from that?
Because he disappeared. What? Okay, so here's my hang on. I gotta turn the music off for this. So here was my thought process with that. He's standing there, right? Okay, he's standing there, and he's chilling there. Roses are there. The roses are there too. He cuts to the feet. Okay, you know, all that, and he's gone, and the roses are gone as well.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here thinking, this guy just in my mind teleported. But what I'm thinking is like, he doesn't have a teleportation power. That's stupid. He doesn't have that. So like my thought process is, so he doesn't have a teleportation power. He ain't stopping time. He ain't reversing it. So if he drops his robe and he's not there anymore, and if I'm not gonna think like myself, right? So here's what I was doing. I wasn't thinking as me who doesn't have superpowers, or me who is watching Giorno who has those type of superpowers, you know, his superpowers or whatever. I'm thinking me in the mind of, one, the mangaka, and two, the actual boss who just deleted himself or in another way, he deleted his fate of being there at that moment. So the way that I was looking at it is that he actively moved himself from that position in fate. So I wasn't looking at it as he teleported IRL, like I didn't see it as he teleported himself outside of his room to wherever. I saw it as he teleported himself outside of the fated timeline of him being there and him to wherever his destination was. So now I'm thinking if he took himself
That's like
out.
literally spot on. That's insane.
But so I mean, because that's why it made sense, right? So I'm
Yeah, but
making
I'm saying like most people can't even grasp this shit after seeing it in action. You guess this shit from a fucking teleport.
because
God
because I
damn.
knew he wasn't teleporting. That was the crux of it. I know he's not teleporting. There's no way. That makes no sense.
Do you think he just did this so that he could watch the roses cut themselves and
Honest,
he gets amused by it?
honestly, that's what I was thinking, right? Because like I'm
Like
sitting here,
you didn't
he
need to
didn't need
skip
to
that,
do
man.
that. He didn't need to skip that. But once again, think about how this dude is thinking. And this at this point, this has been my running theory at this episode. Like by this episode, I've already had this running theory that this guy, while he's a human, he has ethereal motives. Like he has Cthulhu motives.
I just realized he might have done it so that he wouldn't have to like go through reception again. He could just fucking no clip through the wall.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why it made sense in the moment that he did that.
Yeah.
Because he literally no clips. He doesn't
Yeah.
teleport. I'm thinking he's not teleporting. So he's moving himself.
Yeah.
And if he's moving himself, then that could only mean that he is deleting that part of the video. If the video was him standing there and then walking downstairs, whatever reception, talks to them, gets out of there or whatever, gets to his destination, he took himself out of that completely. So I'm not looking at it as teleporting. I'm looking at it as he took himself off the board.
Yeah.
So that was the only reason I
no.
thought that he was deleting time or erasing it, because I was like, well, he just took himself off the board.
Yeah, King Crimson is just a big red button that says I'm out.
I'm out. I'm gonna head out.
Fate, fuck that. I'm out.
Man said, Darth, that's some bullshit, and you know. Oh god, Darth got that Hayato brain. Dear God.
Yeah, for real. Fucking guessing explosion powered. Guessing.
That made sense. That made stupid sense too, because everybody was like, "Oh, they haven't found him."
Yeah.
Okay, well, he's not. There's no way. Like Moriocho is big, but it's not big enough for him to kill that many people, hide the bodies,
Yeah.
and nobody find that.
48 women.
There's no way 48 women went missing, and he hid every one of those bodies perfectly. There's no way. So he would have to be destroying the bodies.
Also,
So
probably
only thing that makes sense.
probably a lot of other people who like witnessed it as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So it like the explosion thing made sense because I was like, he's either melting them or exploding it. But like, if he was melting them,
Yeah.
I would assume that he would like they would find like some type of residue or something. So he has to blow them up.
That makes sense. But like, I still just can't believe you guessed deleting fate based on just him
When you say it,
disappearing and roses being cut. Like
when you say it like that, it does sound like very. It does sound like a jump. But that's why I have to explain to you why I thought it was like that.
Yeah, it made sense how you got there.
Right, because like, yeah, just taking that jump does sound stupid.
Well, I mean, also with the whole theme of like fated path in part 5 and like accepting or rejecting it,
right?
It does make sense that it would be something that's, you know, complete, that's inverse, it's the antithesis of the main squad's
right
like views on fate.
Which
It's
just
actually interesting.
solidified my theories on it, because I was
Yeah,
like, well,
which
that
is it's interesting because you were like someone with that kind of power, would they believe or would they act
oh,
according to
like
or like aligning
right,
to fate,
would they
or
align,
would
would they
they
be
fight it?
subservient to it, or would they be actively like aggressive towards it?
Yeah, fighting it.
Right,
And it's funny because it's actually kind of both.
right.
He believes in fate in that
He has a mutual
everyone,
respect for it.
yeah, well, he believes fully in fate. I mean, why wouldn't he believe it? His ability is literally physical proof of fate. Um,
Right,
but he both aligns with fate in terms of the rest of the world, and he himself rejects fate. So
right,
it's not that he accepts or rejects fate, it's that he believes himself to be above it.
right. Which is in, I would say, the reason why I understood that part of the show, of that, of the boss, is because it sounds a lot like my philosophies with like religion, right? I'm not I'm not stupid enough to say that there is no God. However, I'm also not stupid enough to say that I don't want to align myself with said God, right? So the way that I see the King Crimson is that he's like agnostic with fate. He
Pretty much, yeah.
respects that it's there, but to him he's like, but I'm not aligning with that shit.
Yeah. He's like, you are fate, you are my greatest ally, but respectfully, fuck you.
Yeah, respectfully, fuck you. That's pretty much what he's like. Respectfully, suck a dick. You know what I'm saying? Like it makes sense to me, because I feel like that makes the most sense to me. He's agnostic with fate. Like it just, he believes it, but he doesn't believe it. He believes
Yeah.
it, but he doesn't believe in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is what I always tell people whenever somebody will ask me like my religious beliefs or something. I'm like, I believe in God, or I believe God, but I don't believe in God. So yes, I believe that there probably is a God. I'm not so stupid or small minded to say that there is nothing. There couldn't be anything out there. But I'm not so stupid as to say that his business model sucks cock. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the way I would see the boss. Like he's like, yeah, fate makes sense, but the business model don't work for me, so I ain't with it. You know,
Yeah. I
yeah, it
guarantee
makes
you,
sense.
if there is a god, it's 100% chance that it's none of the
It
shit that
it's
humans
it's
have thought
it's a
of.
fucking ethereal like mishmash of wings and eyes.
Yeah.
It's fucking scary, guaranteed,
Yeah.
guaranteed. Or
Um,
he's black. Yeah, Black Jesus. That's what I need. I see you, but fuck you.
Jesus.
Dummy fact. King Crimson deletes time, Killer Queen deletes people, the world deletes the logic behind how long a second. God damn it. God damn it. It has given me an order, but seeing as how it's a stupid fucking order, I have chosen to. That is literally what. that 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 I feel that. It's like, yeah, fate's giving me order, but that's stupid. So I'm not doing it. And he's the only one that actively looks at it like, that's stupid. I'm not doing it, you know? And I can respect that. I can respect that. I can respect that. I
The
don't want
the dude from Mob Psycho, who just keeps his eyes closed and like teleports and predicts them.
Oh, Shimazaki.
That he is confirmed a King Crimson reference, although a
That's what are we talking about?
insanely nerfed.
Shimazaki? Are you talking about Shimazaki or
Yeah,
okay? Oh, right, because he had the prediction powers as well.
yeah,
He the
and
preconception powers.
yeah, he's a incredibly nerfed King Crimson,
They had to nerf him though,
but
because
well, yeah,
just with
yeah,
just with
Um,
like his powers was stupid.
but they even say in Mob Psycho what most JoJo readers were thinking. This is a literal line from Mob Psycho. If he can predict all our moves and teleport, then how is that fair?
That's true. They did say that. And honestly, me watching the episode, I said the same thing. I was like, that's
How
not
is that
fair at
fair?
all. That man say like I saw that he could teleport. I was like, oh shit, he's teleporting. But then when he got shot and he stopped the bullet and then moved over, I was like, what the fuck? So first of all, you're not gonna do that. Like that makes no sense. Second of all, precognition and teleportation. Okay, well
Yeah,
that's
preconception is
oh yeah that's different. That's different. I hope God is a nice green. I mean, God's a fucking Martian. Teleports behind you. Respectfully, fuck off. God damn it. I don't want to eat unseasoned chicken in heaven. Bro, that's facts. That's why God got to be black. Okay. Because if there's
goddamn.
unseasoned chicken in heaven, I got to kill niggas. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate.
Goddamn. King Crimson is both teleports behind you, nothing personnel kid,
That he's
and
literally that.
and Omae wa mu shinderu.
Shinderu. That's literally what it is. They just took those two things. There it is.
Well, you're gonna be dead,
You're,
but you're already dead.
right. You trust. You're dead, but you're gonna be
No,
dead.
no, literally. I can see it.
No,
You're dead.
you're dead.
Fucker.
It makes sense. But yes, King Crimson from that idea, like from that standpoint, makes perfect sense to me. Like that all makes sense to me because I mean, it probably helps a little bit more that it makes sense to me because of guessing it earlier on. That might be why it makes a little bit more sense to me.
Well, it's
But
and just mainly them doing such a good job making it animated.
right,
Because
also
in manga
animating
form,
it.
this shit was so fucking like even with the better translations that we have now, it's still fucking not enough at all. Because like
Right.
in a manga, you don't you don't get to see the little like
Right, you don't
uh
see the action of
you don't see the little
you don't get
the
to see the
little jump.
visual prompts, you know.
Well, not just the visual prompts, but literally like this shit um
Right,
where Abakia's like that, where he just skips up
right, because
onto the stairs.
since it's a manga, you
Yep,
everything does look like a jump.
yep.
Right, that makes
So
sense.
that
You
is
just see a
also
slideshow.
another
Fuck.
that's also another kind of hidden aspect of King Crimson is that the victim can't the victim is unable to notice, hey, I'm suddenly looking at something different than I was before, or hey, I'm suddenly in a different location.
Right.
Because as a manga, you wouldn't be able to tell that
Not
if it
really a
was a
way
cut.
to translate that
Yeah, so like you kind of just have to interpret all the
that he
characters
did.
as viewing everything through manga panels. So they
Right.
can't tell that they're suddenly, facing backward because, you know, in two manga
Right.
panels, you wouldn't notice anything wrong.
Right, that makes sense. So all manga is King Crimson. God damn it. He has no eye. He doesn't have an
Oh
eye.
shit.
that he is missing
So
an
look at this
eye.
quality Mista back here.
That man looks
Fucking
a little anorexic. Not gonna cap to you. Not gonna sit here and cap to you. That man
fucking
looking a
hunched over
little.
like the neomorph from
Uh,
fucking Alien Covenant.
yeah, he looking a little gremlinish. I ain't about to
Looking a
cap.
little SCP-ish.
Yeah, a
Oh,
little bit, a little bit. Not gonna lie to you. Not gonna lie to you.
okay.
He looking a
Do I
little.
even fucking try to get into King Crimson versus the world? Oh god.
Uh, so King Crimson versus the World makes
Ugh.
it. All right, so here's my thing. King Crimson dirts the world.
Yeah.
That's not up for debate.
But the
Like,
confusing part is how.
right, that's the confusing part is how. Like, I
So
see how that ends. Much like King Crimson, I see how it ends. But
yeah, so I think
me
he would
breathes, Darth.
see
God damn it.
he would see a gap in the future trail
Right,
in the prediction. He would have a gap.
right,
And he would see that he just instantly dies from some unseeable attack that happens instantly,
right.
Um, he doesn't actually need to know what the world does. All he needs to know is that he instantly dies at this point in time,
Mm,
and then to skip before that happens. And as long as he moves away from where his corpse was in the prediction,
right,
uh, what should happen is you would stop time, and then still in stopped time, still punch thin air
right,
with the boss frozen in time, but still behind him or just fucked off somewhere.
r- right.
Then then
Hunter
time
says
stop
cap. I'll debate that.
then time stop ends, and King Crimson would still have his full duration because time stop takes 0 seconds, so it wouldn't use up any of
Well,
it.
it's
It
that,
takes zero
and
seconds, so
it's that, and I'll say that when Dio or Jotaro uses the world, they actively say how many seconds have passed.
yeah.
And with King Crimson, from at least what we've talked about here, it's like it's not like as much as like these many seconds have passed. It's more like this is what's going to happen right here. It will
Well,
continue to have it will continue once this
well,
has happened.
no, King Crimson does have a 10-second limit.
Okay, it does have a 10-second limit. Okay.
He can't
Is
skip
it
longer than 10 seconds.
is um
That's also
is
how far
Joe
he can predict.
is Jotaro 9 seconds though?
Uh, Jotaro was 5 seconds, but he timed it right as Dio's
Okay.
9-second one ended, so it
Right.
seemed like it didn't end.
Right. I
But
That
it
makes it
doesn't
worse actually.
even even if the time stop was more than 10 seconds, it still wouldn't like extend out of the time skip because it technically takes 0 seconds.
Right. I think the
Time stop doesn't
problem
actually last 10 seconds, it lasts 0 seconds,
right.
which wouldn't take any duration off of time skip.
I think the problem in that is that like we're not looking at it, or like I would assume people aren't really looking at it as they're not looking at it as like King Crimson having time power, because it looks like King Crimson has time power, but
It
it
looks
just looks like it.
to everyone except him. Yeah.
Right.
Cuz
But it's the same way that Okuyasu's like the hand looks like he's teleporting things. He's not teleporting things,
yeah.
but it looks like he is. So I would just the way I look well, the way we just talked about is that since he's moving himself, I get it's a little bit different than him erasing time.
Yeah.
So you would
Yeah,
be preparing for the
in
wrong thing.
introducing it as erasing time forefront, I think was a mistake.
Right.
He should have introduced it as I can change my own future, and while I'm doing that, no one can perceive anything.
Right.
That would be a much simpler,
It would be a simpler
much less
term, but
confusing.
it doesn't sound it doesn't sound
It,
marketable.
yeah, it doesn't sound as badass.
Yeah.
Um,
The confusing thing would be how does it look from Dio's POV? the same as it would for
So
anyone else. I think the biggest
yeah,
advantage of the stop time would be that there's a window where King Crimson can't see you. There's really not
but
though.
it doesn't. It doesn't really matter if he can see him as long as he knows where where his own corpse is in the future, because
Right,
he can just move away from that, and then even if he doesn't know exactly where the punches are gonna go, because there's a
right,
gap, he would still know that it has to be somewhere that ends up with his corpse being in that location. So he would, as long as he moves away from that,
right.
he's guaranteed not to get hit.
I
And
missed a
then
few minutes of missed a few minutes of this, but King Crimson dirts the world, but Dio with the world versus the boss with King Crimson is a different story. Yeah, you know
that's
what? I'll
that's arguable.
I'll give you that because actually, because that goes back to what we were just talking about, how the weakness of King Crimson and the weakness of Dio was that they were just men using god powers. If it was both god powers just head up to with each other, King Crimson wins. But since it's two men with god powers head up each other, it's different.
Yeah, yeah. It's user wise, Dio is obviously
Yeah,
a better user.
right,
He's not a pussy. Uh,
right,
whereas Diablo kind of is. Uh,
right,
uh, but fucking the thing with Dio being able to, like, specifically Dio with the world as opposed to Jojo with the world, would be that he could survive,
he would
getting
he would he
donutted.
would it yeah he would survive the attack, which is why I think somebody just said, like, because vampire
But
powers, yeah, he
but
would survive the attack.
King Crimson would be the absolute best stand for finding an opening to destroy Dio's brain, or just destroy his stand like Jojo did.
Right.
So he
It sounds
if he knew
situational.
that yeah, if he knew that Dio was a vampire,
What's a good leave bot?
it would be 100%.
Right. Yeah. So
Uh,
that's what I say. It sounds situational. Like, in the right situations, each one of them could dirt each other, but just head up as stands.
yeah,
King Crimson wins. But situational outside of that, like just in a vacuum, King Crimson wins. But outside of that
oh yeah,
vacuum,
yeah,
there's
because the
room, there's
boss,
wiggle room.
if the boss didn't need to protect his face,
Right.
and we were just talking like pure fight, uh, where he doesn't care about concealing his face, he would have so much freedom to do all this crazy bullshit.
Right. Dio didn't give a fuck about none of that. That nigga hopped into somebody's ride and told him to drive. So, I,
Yeah.
that's
Although
a little different.
although on that on the flip side of that, uh, the world is pretty much the best. It's at its best at attacking.
Right.
It's not great on the defensive. You can use it to dodge like one attack, and then maybe another one right after the time stop ends.
Right.
But any more than that, and it's not great on defensive. Plus, you have to. It has a cooldown.
Right. Which
Um,
we kind of saw the weakness of that
oh,
during the
and
last fight.
yeah, and skipping the world would leave Dio thinking that he still had time stop available when in reality he's on cooldown and doesn't know.
Right. That would fuck you up. That would definitely fuck you up. King Crimson is a baby ass nay. King Crimson is a cringe ass nay baby. That's all. God damn it. You ain't. That's facts. That's facts. He, he did pussy out, and that's what got it. That's what didn't get him the W in that. It all comes back down to the user and what they do with the power. Yeah, I agree with that. Which JoJo does a lot. Yes, that is why, even though this stand seems damn near impossible to beat, I'm not like sitting here like, oh, they lose. Like there's no way to beat it. Because on paper, yes, it definitely looks like um
Right.
there's no way to beat it.
I forgot I'm a dumbass. I was about another. That's another tangent that just lasted 20 minutes.
It did.
I was gonna explain why he wants to kill her.
Oh right,
Um,
right.
which he just says right here. Uh, okay, here we go. So he's like, now that we've met in person, I know for certain we're related. Uh, without a doubt in my mind, I can sense you truly are my daughter. Which means
If you were
if you were
conscious at this very moment, you would sense my Oh, very true. Very true.
so it's the same thing
Right.
as like the Joestars sensing
Right,
Dio
Sense and Dio,
because
which
they're
is what
part of the
they
same
which is
family.
what they set up they set up in the whole anime, but they also kind of reminded us in the beginning of this part where they're like, well, we can't I couldn't be there because we would we would definitely like clash just off of me being a Joestar and him being Dio's son.
Yeah.
King Crimson / the boss's theme does slap. Do you like King Crimson's music? As in the band and not the stand. I was actually listening to King. I've listened. I am a avid listener of King Crimson, like
Oh
the actual
fuck yeah.
band, like the actual. I was listening to 21st Century Schizoid Man the other day.
Hey.
That is a fantastic. I used to play soccer to that song every day in high school. That was my go to soccer song. I don't know why it was my go to soccer song, but it was. Fucking loved it.
Do you
So it
remember
is cool
in
to see King
fucking
Crimson.
do you remember in fucking Saints Row the Third, that mission where you like parachute in and
Mm,
it's the Kanye West King Crimson Kanye West 21st Century Schizoid Man playing.
yeah, yeah.
That shit's so good.
That shit does slap. That shit
That
does
game had a
slap.
disgustingly good soundtrack.
Nah,
Remember
you
when
ain't lying.
remember when games had good soundtracks? God damn.
Yeah, yeah. The games definitely had a stupid soundtrack back in the day, and it's I don't want to say it's degraded, but it's become more sparse nowadays.
Yeah.
Like game soundtracks are kind of like they're not bad, but they are pretty much they're like Brazilian butt lifts. They're not bad, but they all look the same
Bare
in that.
minimum.
Right, bare minimum. Sonic Sonic Adventures 2 soundtrack was wild. I will say one of my earliest memories of playing playing Sonic and the soundtrack being a fucking slapper was Sonic Resort. I used to play on my PC when I was probably like 7, 6. I was really young. But that soundtrack goes fucking dummy. Sonic R, dummy. Stupid. That soundtrack was dumb. Loved it. You know what was
Oh yeah,
under
dude.
appreciated game? Octopath Traveler. Ooh, I haven't heard that name in a while. I've not heard that title in a while. Actually, that's very true. I respect that. Only thing holding the game back from being called classic was the lack of interaction between the main cast. That's fair. That's fair. The game was sort of dead for me. I don't know why. I can give you multiple reasons why. I can give you a lot of reasons. No cap. That shit. That shit was dead for a lot of people. I'm in the middle of. I'm in the middle of Octopath Traveler. It it was cool on the jump, like on the jump when it first came out. I ain't about to sit here and act like it wasn't. That shit definitely had a lot of potential.
Dude, I think it's fucking hilarious that he doesn't need anywhere close to the full 10 seconds. So like he
Yeah,
dodges he dodges for like half a second at the
And then
very
he
start, and then just
just
sits there
starts
and like
fucking pontificating.
it's just like literally like thinking man pose. Like,
Right, like which is I think I even like noticed that during the reaction I was like, is he just sitting there monologuing? Like,
might as well take out a little fucking Abacchio glass of wine.
right, let me sip that one time before I beat your ass. Like all right, yeah, that's fair. That is absolutely fair. Yeah, Octopath Traveler. I totally forgot what that shit even looked like. Cool. Octopath.
Damn, I just realized pretty much like any stand other than time stop would
Jesus,
probably
that's a
do
lot.
better against King Crimson.
Oh yeah, because that
Just because all it's doing is
it,
effectively extending the time
it's a
skip.
hard counter. Like it.
You're just extending the time skip by however long your time stop is.
Right. You'd have a better chance with what was Iggy's stand?
The
Fucking
fool. I mean, the
yeah, the
fool's just
fool.
good as fuck.
The fool was stupid. I'd take the fool out of
The fool
every
you can
stand
just
in there.
with the fool you can just encase yourself in a solid sphere and then just like make a conveyor belt of air bubbles
Yeah,
and then boom.
the fool was useful as fuck. Like you would have a better chance of beating him with the fool than the world.
Yeah, you would have a better chance of beating him with pre-time stop Star Platinum than
Actually, yeah,
after time
that's
stop
true.
Star Platinum.
That's true. That's true.
Oh, dude, this is fucking sick. I need to show you this. Um, if I go to this one, this is gonna blow your fucking mind.
Battle in Egypt
You go to this episode.
has a great Octopath Traveler did have a great art style. It was actually really unique, but they just squandered it, to be honest with you.
All right. So you remember this fucking incredible like high noon showdown?
Yeah, I remember that. This was a great
So
fight.
so Jotaro subconsciously stops time here.
That makes a lot more sense, actually.
Check this shit out. He's gonna lose. He's gonna lose the high noon shootout, but then he subconsciously stops time and then wins. Check this out.
Oh, that he did actually.
It's like it's so fucking obvious once you're looking for it. It's
That yeah.
crazy.
Now that you look at it, now that you like actually, and right there, he stops it, and yeah, you know what? Now that you look at it, Jotaro's a handsome man. God damn, Jotaro's a handsome man. I wish I was that handsome. But yeah,
Fucking
yeah.
scream gets me every time, dude.
Yeah, he beats his ass and then screams into the sky. Like that's so disrespectful
People
to me.
people dub this scream over with like fucking
They need to put that SpongeBob scream from that one episode where they bring him into that Coliseum with that big brawling dude and he goes ah. That would have been perfect. I didn't know, damn. Or wait, what? Wait, really? I'm getting Splitgate because it's good. Apparently, what the fuck?
Splitgate is like it's a great concept, but it's just too clunky. Like
Is that like a game?
I yeah, it's just an FPS where you have a portal gun.
Oh, okay.
Um
It's like
it
Portal.
it it's a great concept, but in practice it's too much of a hassle to spend the time to place the portals
That sounds
when
like
you're already in combat.
that
It's kind of
sounds like every game ever to have a great concept.
yeah.
Uh,
Dude, we need a fucking playable King Crimson stealth game. That's like Metal Gear Solid or some shit.
Didn't
Where
they
like
try that with what do you call that shit? Um, fuck, what was that game where they Control? I never
uh
played it, but I figured that that's kind of like how it was, where it was
no.
like
Or
'Cause
do you mean
I remember somebody saying
you mean
that like at
Quantum
some
Break?
was it Quantum Break?
It's made by
Oh,
the
it might
same
have been
people as
Quantum. Well,
Control.
yeah, it's maybe about the same people. What was Control?
Control is the one that's like all brutalist SCP
Okay,
Foundation
yeah, never mind.
blame
I
blame
might mean
esque
Quantum
thing.
Break then.
That game is good as fuck, dude. Play Control. Holy shit.
Yeah, I never played it, but people were like, "Yeah, it's pretty good, man. Should try it."
That game has the best ray tracing like ever.
Yeah, that was one reason why I hadn't played it when it came out because my computer was shit and I didn't want to
Yeah.
blow my
It
computer up.
has it has transparent reflections
Yeah,
where
my computer would have
like
blew up.
yeah, where glass can have a reflection and be transparent.
Right.
So that's basically splitting every photon into two.
Yeah, that my computer definitely
And
would
then
have
like
blew up.
what happens if that loops? Like
Yeah,
oh
there's no
god.
way. There's no way my old computer would have sustained that when it first came out. I would have died. I would have literally burnt my house down. Where do you find the uncensored subtitles for free? Animegasu has it apparently. That's what I'm
Uh
currently using for
Suge.
it. Yeah, Anime Suge. Yeah, that has it apparently.
But you probably want to get it direct from the source from some stuffs.
Yeah. Some I'd be on some stuff if it didn't fuck me over. I don't know what the
Oh
fuck's
yeah,
going
the
on. I just
the
don't.
like the video player kept
Yeah,
crashing.
I would go back, but we're so deep into it that I'm afraid to go back to doing it, and
Yeah.
then
And you
it's
tried
fucking up.
VLC?
Yeah, and it'll just sound
Uh
horrible. Like I'll like if I tried VLC right, so I'd switch over, it would sound okay, and then it just starts sounding like fucking this.
Whoa.
This is what VLC sounded like, and I was just only like slowed. It was the worst thing
Crispy.
ever. It was the worst thing ever. I hated that. There was no way that I was about to watch Jojo in a sewer with a oscillating fan. I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. But as far as the anime Suge, it's getting the job done. So I can't I can't hate on it. Can't hate on it. So I would say go. I would say go there. I would definitely say go there. Leave if you have ad blocker. Anime Suge works for me. Oh, you can use it with ad blocker. I'm doing that shit. Hold up. I just like I just get rid of all the ads first before I record. But if I got you can use ad blocker with it. Shit, it's even best. That's even better. I just got a 3080 Ti and I'm so hyped to play Control. Man, I can't find a fucking 3080 to save my life. Then again, it's not like I want to pay that much to buy a 30. I do. I would buy one actually if I could find one. Okay, I'm good now. Works for me. Yeah, I should probably put ad blocker on my shit. That would probably make my watching experience a lot better. I'm looking like forward to Melty Blood type Lumia. What the fuck? But I would say, like as a conclusion, like King Crimson has simple a simple premise with a that affects a lot of things in a way that makes it confusing. Like it's the premise of the power is simple, but the effect that the power has on the universe is complex. I
Back when it was just the manga, we just assumed it was inconsistent and he like changed his mind on how it worked sometimes
I
with the whole like Buccellati seeing himself and then
right.
that never happening again.
I probably would have thought the same thing because when it comes to time manipulation, things get fucky, and I kind of like let mangas and like authors in general slide on that shit because like how are they supposed to know how time works? We don't even
Yeah.
know how time works in like IRL. So
And also Araki never actually shows like what happens if he like hurts someone and then erases time before he actually does it.
right,
Like
because I would have gotten
whenever that
some fuck shit
happens,
too.
Yeah, whenever that happens, it just like we don't get to see into time skip, so we have to kind of hypothesize on what happens if he doesn't actually do it this time. Like,
Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was probably a good idea to probably keep that out anyway, because you don't want to make it too more confusing than it already is. But it's
yeah,
probably a good idea. Also,
maybe
apparently, there's
just
another new GTA 5 update. I
God.
I need to play I told my friends that I'd play GTA 5 more because I want to, and I really like that game. I actually like right before I got on, I was like, maybe I should download GTA 5 just in case I feel like playing it. Um, but god damn it, GTA 5. If the update isn't something like super cool, like it's hard for me to be excited about GTA updates because it usually comes with the caveat of you'll enjoy this if you buy our shark cards, and I don't care. I just don't care. I'm not buying your fucking shark cards. At least not anymore. But yeah, I think I think that pretty much like puts a nice little bow on my understanding of King Crimson. Isn't the update just Fast and Furious? I'm not getting that fucking update then. They just gonna have to miss me on that. I'm not about to
Oh, you
get
know,
on fucking GTA so I can talk about family. Fuck that.
you know what? I shouldn't have even given this explanation. I should have just sent this video I made.
Kobe.
All right, let's go.
Oh shit. Kobe.
All right, let's go to the good stuff. Boom, it's the future. We're here in the
Right, no.
future.
Boom, it's the future. We're here in the future. God damn it. That
Oh
is
my God!
honestly.
If you haven't seen that "How does King Crimson work" thing that got suggested there, holy shit!
Yeah.
You gotta watch that shit.
I probably have to watch.
That's a fucking
Is it like
classic.
a parody thing?
No, it's just it's a video from back when there's no anime of part 5, and all we had to go
Oh.
on was just the manga bad translation.
Oh, okay. I see what you're talking about. You want to hear Dragon Maid OP now? Yeah, yeah. We can watch some Dragon Maid or some OPs, and then can probably actually watch. I don't know if y'all want to do. Fuck. What do you call that shit? I don't know if y'all want to do Hell's Kitchen or y'all want to do Hotel Hell. There's that. Jerry Springer, if y'all want to do that, it don't matter to me. It do not matter. It do not matter. Welcome to the Duwang gang. God damn it. God damn it. Yeah, I'm down for Dragon Maid. That shit. I still need to watch that shit. Still need to watch that shit.
I'd vote for some Gordon Ramsay, but you said you've probably already seen every fucking piece of Gordon
I
Ramsay
feel
media.
like I've seen every bit. Now I don't think I've seen all of Hotel Hell. I don't think
Damn,
I've
really?
seen all of Hotel Hell.
That's the best one,
Hotel
dude.
Hell is the best one, and that's why I haven't seen all of them because I started watching Hotel Hell and then I stopped because I wanted to save it, and then
Wise
I
man.
started doing Hell's Kitchen. I started watching that by myself, and I'd watch some on stream, and then that's how I kind of covered all of Hell's Kitchen so quickly because I did it on both. But Hotel Hell, I quit maybe a couple episodes in because I was like, this is something that I'd rather watch on stream because it's like really fucking good, like really fucking good.
There you go. Posted a link.
Is that Hotel
This
Hell?
shit's legendary. No, this is the fucking legendary video from when everyone just had to fucking hypothesize on what King Crimson did. It was a manga.
Copy paste.
All right, you want to know?
Oh god, hang on. God damn it, skipped all the way to the
This shit
fucking.
is legendary in the fandom.
Alright, you wanna know? Fine, I admit it! I don't know how King Crimson works! He erases time, but what does that mean? If you erase time, then shouldn't it not be there? What does that mean? What does he mean he erases time? He erases time, but stuff still happens in it. How does he know what happens in it when he erases it? It doesn't make any sense. You
That's
can't
fair.
erase time.
That's
you
fair.
can't erase time. Fine, you can freeze time and you can turn back time, but you can't erase time. That doesn't make sense.
That's
It
fair.
doesn't make sense. If you erase time, nothing happens in it. I don't know. I don't know. Someone tell me. Someone tell me how King Crimson works.
That's
I need to
fair,
know.
though.
I
That's
need to know how King Crimson works. Please. Please just tell me. I need to know. Someone explain it. It's confusing. I don't know. How does King Crimson work? How does it work? Why does King Crimson work? Please. Please someone tell me. I need to know how King Crimson works. Ah!
you know what? That is fair. That is fair frustration right there. That is fair frustration. Because to be honest with you,
That is.
if
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
actually how I
have, if I didn't have the visual like aspect of seeing that like happen, I would probably be the same way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When we just had a fucking like a
It just
manga panel
works.
that
God
showed
damn.
like a manga panel that just shows like 5 overlapping Buccellatis in the future and
Yeah, no.
past and
Yeah,
whatever.
fuck
It's
no.
just like, what am I looking
Yeah,
at?
yeah, fuck no. That would have threw me for a fucking loop. That would have threw me for a loop. I would not know how to solve that at all. Got me fucked up. I love this tortilla chip. What? It's funny, but it's right. Uh, I
Like,
can
what do you?
I can
What,
hear his frustration, to be honest with you, because I would be the
I
same way.
I
Because
do not
like
understand what he means by tortilla chips, but
I
I
res-
find it hilarious for
wh-
reasons that no man can grasp.
whatever he meant by it, I respect it. That's real shit. Tortilla chips, on God. Hotel Trivago. I felt that. I felt that. I ain't never felt that like I felt anything before, but I felt that. I definitely felt
Hey
that,
man,
bitch.
hey man, remember when part 3 started and you said this where you were like, "Man, it looks like the mind games have kind of been toned down a little,
Oh my
but
God.
that's fine.
Oh my God.
It's
That
fine. I'm not expecting like the hugest mind games ever.
it ramped the fuck back up, and I was like, well, I guess it's time to put my thinking hat back on. I had to sit in my thinking chair and think. I I was not ready for it to ramp back up that hard. Polo based what? Polo based hell. Hello? God?
Stands in part 3. I punch real good. Stands
Bro,
in part 5. I can alter the polarity of valence electrons, but
like
only
I
on Tuesday.
only on and to be honest with you, that's where I was seeing it going whenever we hit like part 4. And I was like, fuck. God damn it. Like as soon as I saw the hand, I was like, God damn it. It's about to get real confusing, isn't it? The man said, yeah, I'd delete space. What? 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 What does that even mean, my nigga? Like, what? Yeah, I'd just be deleting space for real. What? You make sense of that? There's a red spy in the bro. Hello? Hello? God? Are you there? Apparently not. That's crazy. I need to look up some Hotel Hell, actually. Where is Hotel Hell? Where can I watch Hotel Hell? I don't want to watch it on Hulu. I don't have Hulu anymore.
I can probably find a site.
All right, here's what we'll do. I'm gonna go get more food. I will be back, and we will watch either Hotel. Well, watch Dragon Maid. We'll watch Dragon Maid's new LP first, and then we'll watch Hotel Hell. And I think that's probably like the best way. They like Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay is always the best way to wind down the stream.
Have you seen the one where the owner just like smokes weed in a shack outside the hotel?
Oh, I've seen that one. They have like parties outside
Yeah,
and
the
like
butt hut.
yeah,
The
yeah. I've
butt
seen
hut.
that one. That shit bro. I ain't never. Yeah, that shit was stupid.
Looks like you can find almost every episode on Dailymotion.
Okay, that works. That works. That works fine with me. I guess I'll leave for a bit. And most likely be back in a bit. Okay, yeah, that's cool. We'll be watching trash TV, and it'll be fucking perfect.
Oh,
Alright.
by the way, watch that last video before you go.
Which one?
Last link I put in chat.
Is this? I think this is the last.
This is
yeah.
from Stardust Crusaders episode 1, where you're like, looks like the mind games are taking a back seat.
Once again, I'm always down for just a straight up brawl.
Damn, old race. The old setup. That's real. That's real as fuck.
Once again, I'm always down for just a straight up brawl. I'm always down for it.
Is this the beginning of part 3?
I'm not one of them uptight niggas that's like, well, you know, if you don't, he didn't measure the hypotenuse of the angle of the punch and the trajectory.
I did say that.
of the bullets.
Oh yeah, the Joe Montana thing. God damn it. I forgot he did that shit.
I'm so mad they didn't put that in the anime. Oh my god.
That's crazy. Cause they
robbed us of our hypotenuse.
I would have cried. I would have
I
cried
think
on camera right there.
He still does say like Joe Montana.
Yeah, he does the Joe Montana. He doesn't go into detail about it, but he does the thing. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna line this down like Joe Montana. Like, okay. But if he would have went like, yeah, if I solve MX plus B, then I would have been like, oh, bro, okay, so first of all, that's not what we about to do.
Rare miss on David Productions' part. Usually they take the like over explaining crazy bullshit and they just fucking own it.
I would have been all for it. I would have been all for it.
Rare L.
All for it. Like, that would have been hard as fuck to me. I've been so cool with that. Let me see. All right, I'll be back. I'm gonna get some more food because I am starving, and then we will get to the reactions. Oh my god, my eyes. I'm so glad I wear these glasses now. They would have been burning. I will be...
Glasses look sick, man.
I appreciate it. I decided, like, I don't need glasses, but I decided that, like, I stare at a computer screen long enough that I probably should have, like, Blu-ray blocking glasses to not fuck my shit up.
Yeah, I need some of those.
Yeah, so I just wear them whenever I try to wear them whenever I'm recording or just on my computer or something like shit like that. So, gotta future-proof everything. But I'll be right back in like a minute or two to get food, and we should be back on track to watch whatever and have some fun. Everybody thank Not Fried Chicken for the lesson that we have learned today. You know what I'm saying? You know, we all gained a couple IQ points tonight. I think this is the best. I think this is the best that we could have had tonight, you know? IQ points up.
I'm switching over to not pork for the part 6 reference.
Sick.
You don't get it.
Not pork for part 6.
I'm still that on Twitch.
All right, that works.
I don't know how to change my Twitch name.
You can.
How the fuck?
You definitely can change your Twitch name.
Yeah, whatever. Some other time. Go get your food.
All right.
We've delayed the food like 5 times.
We have delayed the food like 5. All right, I'll be back in like 2 minutes or so, and we will get food. Appreciate not fried chicken for the lesson, and we're gonna hop on to
Anytime, man.
some real shit, brothers. We're gonna hop on to some more real shit.